Last night was hands down the best Raw of the year thus far, and I don't know if anything is going to top it in the future. It's definitely, I'd say it's even the best Raw of the last 5 years in WWE, and it's up there for the best Raws of all time. Not the best Raw of all time, of course, but it's definitely up there. Anyway, Monday Night Raw was, as I just said, absolutely amazing last night. From start to finish, it kept you glued to your screen. It was exciting. It was so good. It is a new era indeed, and here's why. If you look up and down the card, every single person who won a match last night has gone through NXT. Every single person. Yes, even Roman Reigns. I know his stint in NXT was brief, but he did start there technically with the Shield and everything, and he was by himself for a little while too. I know it was brief, but he was there. So every single person that won a match last night went through NXT. But not only that, Finn Balor and Seth Rollins are having a match at SummerSlam, which will most likely be the main event for a WWE World title. Think about that for a second. That is absolutely insane. Sasha Banks is the new women's champion. It finally happened, and it happened in an amazing fashion. Like I said, I can't say it enough. This Raw was just absolutely amazing. But here is your full review and recap of WWE Monday Night Raw, July 25th, 2016.
The WWE Universal Championship.
We start off with a segment with the GM and the commissioner, that being Stephanie and Mick Foley, which doesn't really make sense because Mick Foley tried to insist that it would be all about the talent and the wrestlers and not the authority figures, but that does not matter because they came out and announced 2 blockbuster matches, being the 2 Fatal 4-Ways of the night, which we will get into later, and of course they announced the Universal Championship, which everyone hates that name. I personally like it. I'm not like in love with it, but I'm personally like, it just sounds like cool to me. I don't know why. People can call it cheesy, whatever you want. I like it. It sounds good. But the 2 Fatal 4-Way matches that were booked were Sheamus versus Roman Reigns versus Chris Jericho versus Sami Zayn, and Cesaro versus Rusev versus Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor, and those 2 matches were amazing to get it started, but just because of the whole recap part, the winners of those 2 matches would go on to main event Raw, and the winner of that match would go on to main event SummerSlam, or maybe not main event, but I don't know, face Seth Rollins at SummerSlam for obviously the new Universal Championship. This was a great segment. It really gave off the feeling of the new era. I don't know what it was. It was just, it helped elevate Finn Balor, just the segment. And if you thought the elevation was done there, no, it was not done there. But overall, this was not an amazing segment. It wasn't anything like, oh my god, this is the greatest. It was an 8 out of 10 because of just what happened, what it announced, what it brought to the table after. There are some pay-per-views where this match would have been match of the night, and I'm talking about Cesaro versus Rusev versus Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor, the Fatal 4-Way. This was a fantastic match that I think if allotted 5 more minutes would have been really good, but it was fantastic. And like I said, I think it would have been match of the night on not only most Raws in the past, but even some pay-per-views in the past. But Finn Balor pulled away with the victory, pinning Rusev with the coup de grace. It was really good. Not a single guy came out looking weak. It was just really good. It was just really good. It helped elevate Finn Balor again, and once again, the elevation is not done there. But like I said, it was a great match. When Kevin Owens and Rusev were working together, that was great. And like I said, this match just helped out everybody in it. Nobody lost. Even Rusev taking the pin, he didn't lose. He still looked really strong in the match. It was a great match. 7.5 out of 10. The next match is Nia Jax versus local talent by the name of Britt Baker. I can't even get her name right. When it comes to squash matches, I just feel like it's unfair to rate them, because overall they should get like a 1 out of 10 because they're not good matches. So I'm not going to rate them. But I am very happy to see the return of the good squash matches, because it always frustrates me to have people like Bo Dallas, people like Curtis Axel, even though, I mean, he did kind of job, but people like Bo Dallas, people like Curtis Axel, people like Heath Slater, who are actual talent with actual merchandise, with actual characters and storylines and all of that. but they're like jobbers because they just lose every single match. Like, why don't you just always throw people like Britt Baker? I just don't understand the logic behind that. Who would realistically should be buying merchandise of someone who loses all the time? It just doesn't make sense. Squash matches are great. I'm glad they're making a return. I don't want to see like 2 every week or something. Even 1 every week is a bit much, but I want to see them more often because they've been gone. This is the only time in like ever that I have sat here and said, yes, please Chris Jericho win, please be the #1 contender for the world title, because I was rooting for Chris Jericho. I knew Zayn and Sheamus were out at that point near the end, and I was like, please Jericho, please. But it didn't happen. Reigns won. By the way, I'm not gonna cover all the little Pokemon Go segments with Goldust and R-Truth because that's just a waste of time. Those were cool, whatever. But Sheamus versus Roman Reigns versus Chris Jericho versus Sami Zayn. Roman Reigns pinned Sheamus for what the hell? No, he pinned Chris Jericho for the win. Sami Zayn and Sheamus were nowhere to be found because they got knocked out of the ring like 3 minutes before the finish. That didn't really make too much sense to me. Overall, I enjoyed this match. The ending of it was a little off. You know, there was the part where Roman completely boxed that Superman punch, and then he just said, "Let's just redo it," for no reason at all. He just redid it. I just don't understand. But overall, it was a decent match. I will give it a 6 out of 10. The New Day are fantastic, but this segment was not. It just wasn't. It was a little off from what the New Day normally do. Like, it's the celebration. I mean, this should have happened. Did they not break it? Like on Battleground, didn't they break it before Battleground? I'm not sure. One way or another, I don't really think the celebration should have at least gone this way. But I don't even know if it should have happened, to be honest with you. But luckily, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson came in to save the day, beating up the New Day. I like the New Day, don't get me wrong. Like I said, New Day are fantastic, but I'm glad they're involved in a storyline now. I kind of wish Enzo and Cass would have came out and challenged them to like a friendly match. I really want Enzo and Cass to take those tag titles at SummerSlam. But it looks like Enzo and Cass is just going to be beating up what are they called? I don't even remember their goddamn name. The Shining Stars and other useless people for the next few weeks, which we will get into in a bit. But yeah, when Gallows and Anderson came out, it really brought up the segment. So because Gallows and Anderson came out, I'm going to give this segment as well a 6 out of 10. Mr. Irrelevant is apparently Curtis Axel's new gimmick. I'm not really sure how this is gonna go. Is he gonna be? I mean, he's just gonna reunite with Heath Slater, because I mean he was last and Heath Slater didn't even get picked. Also, where the hell was Heath Slater? I thought Heath Slater was gonna have this new gimmick of like going around trying to get drafted. Apparently, that's not happening. Are they just gonna fire Heath Slater? Like, is that the whole thing that happened? I don't know. Anyway, though, this was the return of Neville, of course. It wasn't like spectacular, but it was like a 4-minute match where Neville dominated it. So it didn't have to be spectacular. It was the return of Neville. He has a glorious beard. It's beautiful. Another 6 out of 10. 3 in a row, but it's another 6 out of 10. And then the next match, and oh my god, was this an amazing match. This is, in my opinion, of course, but I think this is an opinion that is really hard to debate, but I think this is the greatest women's match to ever happen on Raw. I don't think it's the greatest women's match in history in WWE, I should say. I think that still goes to me, again, my opinion, to Bayley versus Sasha. I think the first one, I don't remember. I think the Iron Woman match was a little strange, or whichever one wasn't the Iron Woman match was better in my opinion. But this is the second best women's match in WWE/NXT. This was just so good. And it may be because Sasha Banks won the goddamn women's title, but I really don't think, like, everybody, even if you are a huge fan of Charlotte, you cannot deny just how good this match was. If there's 2 things I'm a big fan of, it's flippy shit and storytelling. This match had them both. If there's another thing I'm a big fan of, it's Sasha freaking Banks, and she is the new women's champion, making Charlotte tap out. Of course, the whole Eddie Guerrero tribute, getting Dana out, that made me so happy. It was at that moment that I actually thought, like, is she actually going to win this thing? And she actually did. But when the match started, I thought it's just going to, Dana Brooke's going to interfere, and then they're going to have a match at SummerSlam. Maybe Sasha will go over then. I don't know. But I'm happy they pulled the trigger now. I love the fact that WWE has title changes on Raw, and hopefully now SmackDown, fingers crossed, every once in a while. Don't do them, like, like every other week, but you gotta do them every once in a while. So you gotta do them enough so then the fans know that when they tune in to Raw and SmackDown, they have a chance of seeing a title change. But one way or another, this was night of the match. This was match of the night, in my opinion, and it gets a 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah, that might work.
The next match was Braun Strowman squashing, I think his name was James Ellsworth, I think. He's dead now. James Ellsworth. He died. The one thing though that I want to want WWE to change is, instead of the commentators laughing at the local competitors, maybe they could more put emphasis on just how much of a monster Braun Strowman is. And same with the Nia Jax match. I just feel like that's better. I don't know. One way or another though, I'm not gonna rate this just because it's the whole recap portion where I just got to tell you guys that Braun Strowman murdered James Ellsworth live on WWE television. And then we head to the quote-unquote main event. When it comes to, like, honestly, I feel like Sasha versus Charlotte should have main event. I get that this is the #1 contenders match for the world title and everything, but it's just, I don't know. I don't know, but the main event, and I literally said, like, I was so angry and upset that Roman Reigns was gonna go over Finn Balor. I was like, this is such a good Raw. I literally tweeted, I said, this is such a good Raw. The only thing that would make it a perfect Raw is if Roman Reigns didn't go over Finn Balor, and he actually didn't, and I did not expect this. I had that, everyone had that small sliver of hope, but honestly, if you want to tell me right now that you expected Finn Balor to beat Roman Reigns clean, no shenanigans whatsoever, you're lying. You're either lying to me or you're new here, because that does not happen. But Roman Reigns, it looks like they're still being punished, or he's still being punished by the WWE. He's losing to Finn Balor, and I can honestly say I've never been more happy that a man has violated the wellness policy, because it just pushed Finn Balor to the sky. He deserves it. I cannot wait to see Seth versus Balor at SummerSlam. It will be a fantastic match, just like this one was, because it is going to score another 8 out of 10 from me, because, well, it wasn't Sasha versus Charlotte, but it was really good. I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it as well, and I hope you enjoyed my Raw review and recap. If you did, please do remember to hit the like button. I am excited for SmackDown. I really am. That is a sentence that I have not said in a long ass time, but I am excited for SmackDown. And if you are also excited for SmackDown, then you do not want to miss tomorrow when I have my SmackDown recap and review.